Don't let it marinate, just do it. You don't throw yourself in the deep end, you're never gonna do it. Just don't take your time because someone will take your idea.
On today's episode of the All Business Baby podcast, I am speaking to Sandra from Savoury Gal.
When you first start a business, put your ego aside. Know that you are new. Know that you got to come in somewhat cheaper. You got to market yourself. If Facebook ads and stuff are not working, go in community groups. And that's what really started Savoury Gal. My name is Sandra.
Yeah.
Obviously, the owner of Savoury Gal. I've been in business just over a year and a half now.
Excellent.
So what we mainly do is festivals, events, in-house catering. And, obviously with our growth at the moment, we're looking at moving into manufacturing of skewers and spring rolls and things like that, our most popular menu items. And hopefully, in the next year, we'll have our first brick and mortar.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us, Sandra. Those sound like lofty goals for the business. Is that over the next 12 months, 2 years, 3 years? What's the time span, or tomorrow?
Well, ultimately, when I first started, I gave that a 5-year span. Yeah. We're looking at the next 12 months, we should be able to open all that and be prepped to go.
Yeah, wow. Okay, and then you're going to franchise it out like EJ's?
Well, hopefully that's the goal, right? When you work towards that was the 10-year goal, but hopefully with what we're creating with the process and procedures and stuff like that, we're starting to write it now, and within a year we should be able to have some kind of plan to then launch and find a partner to help us take it that far.
Oh, that's good. So you would be looking for outside investors?
Yes,
nice.
Eventually.
Okay. Well, those are great goals, and I think maybe we should take the audience all the way back.
Yes.
All the way back. I guess, before Savoury Gal existed, what were you doing before?
So I started off my career with nightclubs. I was pretty much Sydney's number one Asian promoters. I had a guest list pretty much half the club. So I took over a dying club, became the marketing manager.
Which club was this?
Zaya for Fat Entertainment. So when I came in, it was pretty much at its dying wits. It was a year and a bit in. Then I met Pat, the owner. Shout out to Pat. And then from there, he took me in, taught me the game. I was able to bring the Cabramatta Southwest crowd where we was brought up, and pretty much turned that club and changed the concept around a little bit, put in some marketing spins, and was able to turn it into, I think, pretty much at that time, the hottest Asian nightclub. So,
yeah, I think you did a good job because I was having good times there Friday and Saturday night. So
yeah, and you know what? From there, obviously, gladly killed the nightclub scene. There was a big, she turned out, and obviously they're still copying that.
That was the one punch,
right?
Yeah,
the one knockout. That knockout law, and then it pretty much locked out the whole of Sydney.
That ruined Sydney. Yeah, that's
and
right.
From there, I pretty much was like, I can't stay in this industry.
Yeah.
If one punch is what took to wipe out the industry, I've got to sit there and rebuild for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
So I went for the most boring and safest job. I went into finance. So with finance started...
It's not that boring.
Oh, you know what? Compared to what I'm doing now, yeah, it was. But it was pretty much the pillar of where I learned processes, procedures. And I learned to be more corporate. So with that, I've taken those skills, did that for about 10 years until I realised that, it was not for me anymore.
The boring life.
The boring life. It's just for me. I can't sit there, don't really care how your day is.
Yeah, need to be out there partying.
Yeah, and then I realised, I'm like, what else can I do? And that whole time, I think I was transitioning into, I actually applied for, what's that thing, MasterChef?
MasterChef, yeah, right.
And I was at pretty much the ends of my life where I'm like so depressed I didn't know what I was doing. I applied for MasterChef. I couldn't take work off.
How old were you then?
This was only 3 years ago.
3 years ago, so you were kind of having a midlife crisis.
I was having a midlife crisis, and I said to myself, surely if I get into MasterChef, I can make things happen, right? And I was really into cooking, and I was always cooking for Henry. And then I was like, yeah, all right, fair enough. Got into MasterChef, and guess why I got in pretty far?
Did you?
Yes, I got in pretty far, and that's the truth. And they called me and they were like, yep, all right, you're going to go through some more finals and you're going to get in. We're going to push you because you've made a great audition. Everything was so good about you. And I said, sorry, I can't take work off. And that's when I spiraled. I said, wow. And I put 9 to 5s against the whole career that I could have created then and there. And I think that was when I was pretty much 2 to 3 months out of going, drop it. who cares about the 9 and 5? They saw potential. Everyone else saw potential. I couldn't take work off, skip work. I've saved enough.
That started a fire in you to say,
I think that started a burden. Like it was like do or die, and I leaped into catering.
But I mean, do or die, not really that bad, is it?
Well, at the end of the time, I was a crypto investor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, so that was bad.
I made during the 2018 crash, I lost a lot, but I made a lot during 2016, 17.
Yeah.
So I said to Henry, we've got enough to back myself probably for 3 to 6 months.
Right.
And if it doesn't work, I can always go back.
Yeah, worst case.
Yeah, worst case. And I've never came back.
Yeah, so you're doing something well.
Yeah, so took all those life skills, all those things well, like that burn, that fire in me.
So after MasterChef, you're like, you know what, I can do this, and you decided, you know what, I'll do. I guess, how did skills come about?
The skills came about because I was, how do you say it? There's a word. I was brain fried on TikTok, just watching random reels, and then I was like, hey, this business, this looks good.
Yeah.
It looks simple. It was a business in America actually at the time. So this looks amazing. Just really deep dive into their business, see how they do it. And then I was like, I can do this. And let's just give it a shot. So within 2 weeks, I started up Savoury Gal. And it took me a while to think of the name because I didn't want anything with underscores. I wanted something appealing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, came up with a name after 2 weeks, launched. And I was like, let's see how it goes.
With the name Savoury Gal, would you ever do sweet skills?
Well, kind of defeats the purpose, right, Phil?
No, that's good. So, okay, well, it took you about 2 weeks because, sometimes people can, and I know myself, I've done it before, I will sit there and think about an idea and just think about it.
Yep.
Let it marinate.
Yep.
Thinking about it a bit more.
Yeah.
And then do nothing.
Yeah, so that was me for probably 10 years when I was in finance.
Right.
I was thinking about 100 million ideas.
But you just never action.
Never action. And I said, well, if I'm going to keep doing this, how I'm going to be successful? Everything's just going to let to rot, So I kind of thought, break out of it, do it, and if it doesn't work out, go back. Yeah. And I think that's the thing, and that was triggered the whole movement.
Initially starting up, did it cost you a lot of money to get going?
Initially, to start up, shout out to the boys who had restaurants and stuff. They let me use their kitchen.
Yeah.
They taught me the ropes. And because of them, and because I was actually rooting to go on MasterChef and some of the boys knew, they actually took me under their wing.
Yeah.
And they taught me some things, And obviously when I was like, all right, I'm going to do Savoury Gal, they're like, are you sure you're going to go through with this? I'm like, yep. They're like, are you really sure? I'm like, 100%. So I jumped in, did everything, and they're like, wow, okay, she's actually done it. Yeah. All right. So I asked them, what do I do next? Because I had no idea. I knew how to kind of market it. I knew kind of what to do. I drew up some policies and procedure, but I launched during Christmas. And it was like, that's why I said I launched
Went into the fire.
Because I said, if I don't do it well now, then how am I going to do well all year round? So I think it came down to that. I was like, all right, just jump in. Let's do it.
What would you say is during your first year was like a big help to you? Like, what did you do that actually helped your business? Any tips out there that you can share with anyone else looking to?
The first year, and it's remarkable, right? I had no hiccups. We had a solid book. But what I did focused on the first year was whoever was booking me, I spent probably 2 to 3 minutes and asked them, what's the event for? How many people are coming and whatnot? So if I knew it was a birthday within this time next year, let's say a year later, I would actually message them, happy birthday. Are you planning on doing any catering? So now I've got a back book, and that's what's keeping the business afloat. Customers, making sure that you know what event they have on, and then obviously sliding your way through their DMs.
Yeah, being naughty about it.
Yeah.
No, that's a good tactic, and obviously I'm assuming that's worked for you.
Yeah, and that's worked, Obviously when you first start a business, and I'll say this to you guys, put your ego aside. Know that you are new, know that you got to come in, somewhat cheaper, and then also you got to market yourself. If Facebook ads and stuff are not working, Instagram ads, go on community groups. And that's what really started Savoury Gal. We started posting on community groups, putting out our low prices. People were interested, took the bite, loved the food. A year later, if they had another event, they'll come back.
Okay, so that's how you grew social media then, really?
That's how I really grew social media. And obviously, we were very lucky to have a lot of food influencers come by the store, and they loved the food and gave us free publicity.
Yeah.
So even with those, obviously put your heart at the forefront and kind of just go and dive in deep and make sure you look after and you know who the influencers are.
Okay, well, that's good. So, where the business is at now, you've got Henry who works with you, your your husband slash partner slash so many other things.
Yeah.
How's that dynamic work with, seeing each other basically 24/7 at home and at work?
You know what? I think because we started our love story, we hated each other. And because we've argued for 10 years straight, right? Now, everything that we do, we jump straight in, we don't argue. There's nothing to argue about.
Just get it done.
And we get it done, and we get it done probably better than anyone else I can work with. And,
Yeah.
people always come up to me, how do you work with your partner? I go, how can I?
Yeah.
It's probably the only one I can intimidate. Shout out to Henry, sorry, mate.
Yeah. He's the only one that'll let you bully him, so.
Yeah, and you know what? He's actually he's in Strata at the moment, and he's actually quitting. I think I told you next week. It's something that he's passionate, being a boss, learning the ropes. So
Yeah.
And it's only made us stronger.
That's good.
Yeah.
So Henry's quitting his full-time job as well
Yeah,
to
so
now
we
support your business.
basically we said if it does well, because I thought about going back to full-time many times.
No.
Am I ready for this? The answer every single time was no. And he was the one that believed in the concept.
Yeah.
He's like, just stay in your full-time. When the time is right, I'll quit. And I said, let's see how long this goes.
Yeah.
Then, so now we're at that stage where we're able to support his income as well and be able to grow.
You mentioned thinking about going back to corporate. Why wouldn't you go back to corporate? What's the difference between, your life now versus when you were in corporate?
So the reason why I said I would go back to corporate, I'll be completely honest with you. From February all the way till about May, it was putrid. It was raining.
Yeah,
there was so much rain. That was my first quarter. I took an L, and it was a hard hit because at that time I can't control weather. I can control quality. I can't control the weather. So I took a step back and I was like, Sandra, is this really made for you? You start questioning it. You're now eating back into your savings that you built for the business. But then, you know what? The weather cleared. Burwood came and gave us an opportunity. Shout out to the guys at Burwood. And we were able to grow again. And without that, I would have actually not thought about expansion again.
At that point, what were you thinking? Packing it all up?
Well, I was thinking about packing it all out, but I had people actually offer to buy the brand.
Yeah, right.
And I was thinking about, should I take it? But, when you put your hard work into something and you finally believe it's going to work, you kind of think,
it's very hard to let go.
It's very hard to let go. And you built the name and you love the name. You and your partner adore it. It's hard.
It's like a baby.
Yeah, it is literally.
Having a business is like having another baby.
And you know what? That's what it comes down to, It's, do you give up now because of the rain, or do you just wait until it just stops raining? And I'm talking about, even I had to learn to restructure my business. I wasn't taking deposits. So while it was raining, I was booked out.
You lost all that
I
cash.
lost all that. And then now we learn, okay, let's go back a few notch. And that's the beauty of starting a brand new business. You grow with the business.
Yeah, that's right. And you can, change it up to how it should work for yourself.
Exactly.
That's good. What other challenges did you face during that first year of growth?
I guess it's finding good stuff that see your vision. Because you can, at the end of the day, right, anyone can work, that's true. But having someone that was somewhat passionate, following what you would do, it's hard. And also, obviously right now we're training kids. So obviously telling them and coaching them as well, telling them obviously if you
You're
work
paying
with
these
me,
kids, right? You're paying these kids?
Of course. We're actually paying them above wage at the moment too. Because we believe that, obviously you can hire a kid, treat them not so well, they're not going to learn, they're going to leave you. But we thought about it. If we treat a kid well, we can at least keep them, they're in high school, hopefully they go through uni and whatnot. We've still got that 5 or 6 years. So we're just finding the next Savoury Gal so I can have a baby.
It's very hard, yeah.
I think we turned through about 15 now. So we're still looking. Obviously in this market, a lot of kids, they really do want to get out there and do something. So I think we've found 2 now, and hopefully it works out.
Yeah, I mean, it is a very tough industry to, I guess, get someone to latch on a particular dream and get them to, go with it, just because, most cases when you think about your career opportunities, not much you can aspire to working in hospitality or retail, or unless you go out, open your own, or become a manager, or
On the other hand, what we offer them is, I've been doing a lot of things for a lot of time. I can teach you how to hustle.
yeah,
And I can teach you how to hustle hard. I mean, I've opened 2-3 brands during COVID. They did semi well, and if I let it marinate for a while, I could have possibly made something out of it. This is the first time I've done something that I actually believe in, and I can see myself in it for 5 to 10 years.
Yep.
Or more.
Yep. Or beyond that. Yeah. Okay. Good. You talked about expansion with Savoury Gal. What are the challenges you're experiencing now? Like, what are the things you've got to think about?
It's a tough economy. It's a really tough economy. And if someone tells you, no, this economy is great, they're lying. So what I found is, obviously, we had to put more manpower to make that dollar, opposed to when we first started. Everything, people were coming out of COVID, they had savings. So right now, obviously, with the expansion, we've got to be very careful seeing how the economy does before we expand and not be able to cover rent, or there might be another COVID brewing up. So we're at the moment, we're looking at how we're going to save for those rainy days. So I have to think in advance. And I think that is a big challenge for us at the moment.
Yeah, it sounds like it. You just want to make sure that you're quite stable before making that financial commitment, right?
Especially signing a lease that's potentially 2 to 5 years. Like, we got to make sure that obviously it's not even the fit out. The fit out is probably the cheapest. It's actually being able to sustain rent.
Where would you look to permanently fix that yourselves?
So everyone knows I'm 2166 all the way, but that's definitely not where I'm going to go. And I think a lot of people are shocked to hear that. I'm hoping somewhere, maybe Parramatta. That's why when I drove around.
Yeah.
But it depends, because even though Burwood's hot right now, there's too many competition. So what we want is somewhere a bit more further out. I guess there is a lot of competition in Parramatta, but not for skewers yet.
Yeah, so there's heaps of skewers in Burwood.
There's heaps of skewers in Burwood.
And is that on the cards like pretty soon?
Well, basically, I'm looking for shop fronts at the moment. So I've seen, obviously Spaniard, he's down in North Sydney.
Oh, yeah.
Smoking Gringos, they're in North Para, sorry. So everyone's here at the moment. So obviously there's a lot of growth here, and people are picking these locations for a reason. So we're trying to scout somewhere around here.
Yeah. Is it an actual shop front or like one of those? Mobile
food
shops,
trucks,
food trucks,
yeah. So food trucks in North Para are doing really well at the moment, from what I can see. And if we were going to open, I'll probably open a shop front in Para, which is what we're planning to, and a food truck around North Para.
For the audiences out there curious, and you don't have to give away your information, but from what you know in your industry, how much are food trucks making? Or can they make?
Food trucks, depending, right? So
food trucks, food stores.
A really popular one, Spaniard, I reckon it's making around 50 to 75 grand a week.
Damn. Yeah,
and that's how he's peaked. He's probably slowed that down. I reckon he's still making 30 to 40.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at, obviously the figures that we're running at the moment. If we keep this up, we could probably build that momentum. Spaniard has a very big backing and following. I'm never going to be Spaniard. Don't plan to be either. But, obviously with
that's Oj.
Yeah, that's Oj. Itwa, no Itwa. Yeah. But when we look at it, obviously I see if anything, we want to hit those ballparks, but that's what we're building on.
Yep, you need to put more content out then.
We've got a film crew that's all ready to go, but we're waiting for us to expand our menu so we can get more content.
Yeah, and what type of expansion would that look like in terms of the food?
So at the end of the day, what we're good at is right now skewers, right? We launched scallops, that's really popular. I want to go back and bring back, the good old school Vietnamese spring rolls.
Yeah.
I don't know if you leave Cabra, they just taste chat.
They don't taste good.
They don't taste good, and we were like, well, we've eaten so many to know that our one tastes so much better.
Yes.
So we want to go and focus on, spring rolls. I want to focus on truffle. I love truffle.
Yeah.
So I want to do a menu, but truffle's so seasonal. So right now we're learning, we're trying to preserve it to see how we can make truffles last longer and all year round.
It's only in winter.
It's only in winter, and it's only about 3 to 4 months max. So we're trying to preserve some recipes and things like that and see what we can do. If we can do a truffle menu all year round, it hits hard with the Asians. Yeah. And hopefully we can do that. I'm still working on it actually right now.
Yeah, so you're doing a bit of R&D with your menu?
Yes, a lot of R&D, and I think I've been doing R&D for this year and a half. I haven't stopped, to be honest, and just really.
What's been the worst thing you've made?
I made a truffle bread roll, not realizing bread goes off in about a day and a half.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to produce that many bread rolls, and it doesn't sell, you're literally pretty much a high wastage. So we learned to stick away from anything bread.
Yep.
And which is why you see me not having rice on it. Because if it doesn't sell, you're literally chucking a pot a day or more.
Do you find like there is a lot of wastage in your business at the moment?
There was a lot of wastage when we started.
Yeah.
We now go off, and this is a big, like if anyone plans to start, look at the weather.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you're not going to have lines if it's going to be, the rain's going to be
Yeah, it's
bad.
a big difference when there's rain
So
and there's no rain.
I would, if you're going to start a business, and I'll say this to everyone, and I have told people this, look at the weather, look what's on around the area, and look at what's around on Sydney. So if there's a lot of events toward the city, that's pretty much where people's going to go. So for us, we calculate our meat and our wastage and how much to prepare based on those components.
Yep.
So we know, even with our catering, we know that if it's good weather, it's nice and sunny, no winds, we prep actually extras so people can buy because we have so many last minute orders. Definitely wastage can be predicted by weather.
And are you obviously you're making everything fresh from date, like, so I guess if there's an event on Sunday, are you making that on Saturday night?
If there's an event on Sunday, I'm going to be honest, I'll probably start the prep on a Friday.
Yeah.
For that Saturday, and we'll let the team know because everyone's on a casual base at the moment.
Yeah.
So we'll be like, okay, the weather's good. We'll put one or two. more.
Yeah, makes sense. Yep.
So we don't try to do it too far out because we marinate. If it sinks too long, it's no good.
Tastes even better.
Yeah. Sometimes it does, but sometimes depending on the ingredients, actually might taste a little bit worse.
Really?
Yeah. So for us, generally, if it's a Sunday prep, it'll be done by Friday.
Makes sense. All right. Well, look, I think overall, it sounds like Savoury Gal is going quite well.
Yep.
With lofty plans of expanding over the next short-term future. I guess if you're to achieve all these things, Sandra, what's next for yourself? What do you see yourself doing?
I'm going to go back to drop shipping. So I have a full concept, full everything.
Okay, so very business minded. You got a lot of ideas going on.
Yeah. And I was actually going to go back, and I told Henry this, to back to drop shipping, because during COVID we couldn't get the products in, so we couldn't drop ship those kind of business. But yeah, definitely that's something on the forefront. Like when I have time to work back on.
What are you drop shipping?
Alcohol. So no, like pretty much anything to like really cool bougie ass wine holders and things like that. Not alcohol itself.
Okay.
And then also get into same thing with tea. So really cool trendy tea stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like more business stuff, really.
Yeah.
No time for yourself?
Oh, look, it's one of those things, right? If I don't do it now, I'm not going to do it later. So work on this. Maybe, hopefully there'll be a mini Henry I can kick around. But, something that we're looking at.
Better get to work.
But then that's the whole thing, right? That's why he's part of the business now. If he wants a child, he's going to work for it. Because I can't do two things at once.
Yeah, that's right. You can't be the mum to him and your kid.
Yeah, so we would like, all right.
And the baby.
He's got to pretty much take over the business for me to do so, yeah.
Oh, good. So things are in motion.
Yes, things are in motion and it's finally happening as of next week.
And you're like freaking out, shit,
what did I sign up for?
Yeah, that's right. All right, Sandra, before we leave, is there a tip that you could share to the audience for anyone that's looking to start one or currently going through a business journey?
So my thing is, don't let it marinate, just do it. Like at the end of the day, if you don't throw yourself in the deep end, you're never going to do it. So just don't take your time because someone will take your idea. Yeah. Ever since I've started a skewer business, I swear to God, there's 20 others.
Yeah.
And if I didn't start that and they didn't see a movement come out of it, they wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
So I believe that if you're going to sit there and, as we spoke about earlier, letting something marinate, you're going to regret it.
Yeah, be the first wave, right?
And look, even if it doesn't work out, think of something else. Don't give up.
Keep going,
yeah.
Thanks, Sandra, for jumping on the All Business Baby podcast. I appreciate you sharing your experience and journey. Thank you.
Easy. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you. So if you're about to begin your business journey or you're currently going through your business journey, tune into future episodes so that you can learn more and find a supportive community. Otherwise, follow me on LinkedIn for more.